Hey guys, and welcome back to the second HellfireComms Disneython. We've got a pretty big movie to show you all today. We are going to be covering Lilo and Stitch, and I could not have covered this one without A, ex-gamer Richie. Yeah, he's hyped for this, as you can probably tell. And also, the Mexican bass monkey.
I too enjoy this movie.
Varying degrees of hype, but it'll all come out to the fore as we go through. Okay, guys, everything you'll need is in the video description. Check that if you're unsure how to sync things up. But as for us commentators, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, Lilo and Stitch. Man, I watched the TV show all the time.
Oh, that TV show was wonderful.
Wait, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about
The original, Lilo and Stitch,
one?
the series. Just forget the anime existed. Forget the anime.
The Japanese cartoon one?
Stop it, you're breaking my heart. There's only one true Lilo and Stitch series. Anywho's, this film was released in 2002 and was basically developed. It came from the mind of the one, the only Chris Sanders, who actually voices Stitch in the film, and he also did DreamWorks' How to Train Your Dragon.
Along with Dean DeBlois, who also directed the movie as well.
Yeah, a lot of people would consider Stitch and Toothless to be essentially animation brothers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
They're both the sort of outcast animals created by the same guy and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and this is why I have a t-shirt that has Stitch wearing a toothless onesie.
Nice. Now, before we get into the movie proper, there's kind of like two schools of thought when it comes to Lilo and Stitch. Or two, separate fan bases, I should say. One side loves all the alien stuff and thinks it meshes really well with the movie. The other side loves the family stuff and wishes it was nothing but that. Richie, which kind of, category or group do you fall into?
Well, for starters, I didn't realise there was this thing that existed. I just thought it was an excellent movie and I really love it. And the whole aliens and Ohana stuff works really well together.
Well, I visit various forums and I see things.
Well, those forums are weird.
Okay. It was the I Love Lilo and Stitch forums, which makes it doubly weird. But yeah, you like it all. What about you, Mexi? Because I remember, you saying on multiple occasions, the family stuff gets you right in the heartstrings.
Yeah, it's most definitely the family stuff. The alien stuff is cool. I mean, I do like how, from a design perspective, they tried to base all of the alien crafts off sea life, like the machine that brought Stitch in sort of looks like a crab. Meanwhile, the alien lives themselves are actually based off various Disney characters. You'll notice one of the aliens kind of looks like Piglet. There was one that looked like a tiny teddy bear back there, but they essentially tried to mutate Disney characters to make the aliens, and then all the ships are based off fish and other marine life.
As for me, I kind of like the whole movie, the movie as a whole. I think the worst thing I can say about, the alien stuff is it's serviceable. I think they expand on it better in, the TV show, like I mentioned. But the movie itself is really good. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 exactly, but it would definitely fall into the top 15.
Sacrilege, Tom.
This is actually my favorite Disney movie.
Really?
Yeah. Also, a PS, that thing that he just slicked on the screen was supposed to be the Disney D.
Ah.
So Stitch literally just gave the Supreme High Council of Alien Mishmash the fucking D.
We're not even 5 minutes into the movie yet. Alright, Maxie, why did you choose this one for us to cover? Because, yeah, it's your favourite, but why exactly? Why do you think it's so good that we could show it off and talk about it to our fans?
It hits a lot of personal notes to me a lot. The whole broken family, all the family shit. Hawaii as a whole is an amazing location for them to pick.
Yeah.
I know that the reason they went with it was because originally this movie was going to be set in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, which still gives you the exact same feel. The isolation allows essentially an intergalactic fugitive just run rampant. And it also adds into a plot point later on that Stitch has programmed into him, essentially a longing to destroy any huge cities he comes in contact with. So middle of nowhere Kansas, secluded island of Hawaii, it works for either location. But they mentioned that it sort of just falls into the realm of where every other fantasy movie ends up being set. I mean, it's always set in the West, or it's always set in some modern big location. So to put in Hawaii, they said that essentially putting it there rewrote the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then from there, they also made artistic choices, such as something that Disney hadn't done for literally decades, is that with this movie, backgrounds are painted using watercolor as opposed to solid watercolors, or I'm going to pronounce this word incorrectly, but opaque colors.
No, you said that right.
Yeah, normally, like, for the longest fucking time, Disney movies were colored in that style, and so when they wanted to give this movie an older look, they decided to go with the basic watercolor coloring, and in fact, they actually had to retrain several of their artists in the technique, just because it was such an old technique that most of them didn't have much experience in it.
What a bunch of fucking casuals.
Fucking hacks.
Yeah. I gotta say, it paid off though, because it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, hell yes. I mean, you've got to remember, this came at a time when Disney was going through a bit of a rough patch, really all like... So they'd had the Disney Renaissance, and then they'd sort of started to fumble a bit.
Yeah, Tarzan came along when they decided they wanted to show that they could make a non-Broadway musical, so they came up with Tarzan, which is probably my second favorite Disney movie, but financially not that great. So from there, they're like, all right, let's try and do less musicals. So then came Atlantis, which their developer tagline, like they made t-shirts and fucking everything for this, was less musical numbers, more explosions. So they were... Atlantis was essentially the Let's Be Mature movie of Disney. It's kind of hilarious. And that didn't return financially. After that was The Emperor's New Groove, which also didn't return financially. Believe it or not, throughout the 2000s, so from 2000 to 2009, only 2 movies actually gave Disney the financial return on their initial theater release, and they were Lilo and Stitch and The Princess and the Frog. All other 2000 movies were either negative, or it took until like home releases or re-releases before they like financially were in the green.
The less said about home on the fucking range, the better. I've sat through that. That was a cancelled Disneython commentary, actually, because we just couldn't find anything good to say about it.
Hey, I can add that I love Meet the Robinsons in that batch of the 2000s.
Yes.
Also, there's Tigger, so there you go, another Disney. There's Piglet. Just they're all over the goddamn place.
See, I remember watching the movie the first time. I was like, is that meant to be Piglet and Tigger? No, it can't be. They wouldn't be that obvious.
It's meant to be like that. Also, they mentioned that the planet Earth is in Sector 17, Area 51 of galactic charts. Area 51 being a reference to the Air Force Base in Nevada.
Of course.
Where it's believed that the U.S. government is holding extraterrestrial lives hostages.
Do you believe that?
Sure, why not?
Let's just roll with it.
Does it matter?
No, not really.
If there are aliens being held hostage, it's like, so what? They're not doing anything.
Best character?
Well, no, the best character is clearly Stitch, but Pleakley's still wonderful.
Okay, Mr. Neurotic there. Let me get the cast list up, scrolling down here. Way back when, at the start of the movie, we had David Ogden Stiers as Dr. Jumbo Jukiba. I think he's one of my favourite David Ogden Stiers roles. Chris Sanders I have mentioned. Zoe Caldwell as the Grand Councilwoman. The Grey leader of the Galactic Federation. Kevin Michael Richardson, the great Kevin Michael Richardson as Captain Gantu. Kevin McDonald as Agent Wendell Pleakley.
Yes, Wendy Pleakley, as he is commonly called in the TV series.
Wait, I totally forgot his first name was Wendell. Also, here's your fucking reoccurring joke is Pleakley uses a viewfinder, a device that literally only works if you have 2 eyes. I mean, other than the fact he's using it for educational purposes, but why are you even using it? How did you get a hold of this?
Well, no, we will find out, technically, how he got a hold of it right at the end of the film. But it's not really hugely important, it's just here as that throwaway gag, really.
Since we were actually spending much time in like the space portion of the film, how did you guys feel Lilo and Stitch was represented in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep? Mexi, did you end up playing that?
Nope.
Richie?
So I think it was represented reasonably well in the sense of you had Sparky, one of the other experiments, who was used quite well. Gantu was used pretty well. They got the setting down pat, but I think what everybody would have preferred and what would have worked better would have been Hawaii.
Yeah.
And really, if they ever return to a Lilo and Stitch world, they goddamn better make it Hawaii.
Well, you see, the problem there is...
It works thematically, because then Sora can have shit tons of cutscenes where he's homesick.
Exactly.
Actually, I was just about to bring up the point that maybe it's too similar to Destiny Islands, but that works really well thematically.
And also it means you get to throw in the Ohana a lot more because you can have Lilo there. And also it means you can actually start to go a little bit more wild with bringing in other experiments because, I mean, you've got 627 to play with. So, really, you've got a lot you can do. Actually, it might be more than that, but I can't remember which one Leroy is, but
There's 3 past Stitch.
There are 3, but I know there was a 628, but I don't know whether we were ever shown 628.
Well, I've got the list of all the fuckers here. I'm just going to be reading some off at random as we go through the movie.
Well, no, don't read them all off. Just, I know because Jukiba showed off that he had 3 post-Stitch, and I think he, hid them, or maybe 1 got released in an episode. But since we're even on that, you guys probably missed it that when they went on the elevator, there was a rodent-type alien in the prison cell right there, who would later become Dr. Jacques von Hamstaville.
Oh, hell yes.
So he's even in the movie. They didn't pull that out their ass.
We have 627, who is a red and yellow, cone-headed, purple-nosed, monstrous koala-like experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was just basically like a tougher version of Stitch. And 628, only seen in pod form.
Yes, that's the one. And then you've got Leroy, who is the star of the final film in the Lilo and Stitch trilogy.
The Lilo and Stitch canon.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to wrap up the show because
Yes.
that's supposed to be when all of the experiments are done. Like, the credits is literally a roll call of all 629 experiments.
Also, it's kind of like what King of Thieves was to the Aladdin TV series.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Also, I feel the need to mention during this section, because I was a massive geek and watched some of the special features on the Blu-ray weeks ago. Might have been months ago, actually. But this particular sequence, because they wanted to get everything incredibly accurate, they filmed proper Hawaiian dancers doing this routine, and then instead of actually doing the rotoscope of tracing, they did actually draw it by hand and went frame by frame through every single motion and do it all by hand for this sequence, and it's just wonderful.
I also see that as a throwback to how Disney originally did their dance sequences, which I use that term loosely, but essentially, like in Sleeping Beauty, there is a dance sequence. Aurora dances in the woods, and back then they had just models dance in the studio, and they had to draw off of those. A lot of the early characters, they pretty much were just drawing the model. And a lot of what Lilo and Stitch is doing is supposed to be a callback to older, cheaper methods of animation, because they didn't get the return from Tarzan, Atlantis, or Treasure Planet. So what happened was they harkened back to Dumbo. Because what happened was Dumbo was a very cheap, low-budget, low-effort movie that they made after Pinocchio and Fantasia, the 2 movies before, didn't really give them the financial return they needed, so they kind of needed to go back to basics. And that's sort of what they do with Lilo and Stitch. And so going back to, hand-drawing dancing models, I love that they went back to that, because those pictures, when you see the Disney animators, drawing for Sleeping Beauty and stuff, those are really... I love those pictures a lot.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's also something that's particularly fascinating with bits of The Little Mermaid, because that obviously came at a time after they spent many, many years not doing the type of rotoscoping that they used to, and then they were really struggling with, Ariel's hair. So they ended up getting in someone to model, basically, and that's how they got half of those shots.
Yeah, that shit looked amazing at the time, though, especially since it had to be flowing through water at all times.
Oh, definitely.
So, the character of Lilo. Your opinions?
Oh, love Lilo. She's amazing. And also, her voice actress, which is Davy Chase, is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, she does a really good job.
AKA the girl from The Ring.
Yeah, there's a casting choice out of fucking nowhere.
Also, for anybody who does recognise her voice, you will recognise her as the English voice of Chihiro in Spirited Away, which came out the same year as Lilo and Stitch, actually.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring this up. Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, and Spirited Away were all nominated the same year for Best Animated Picture, and Lilo and Stitch was fucking robbed. Bring the hate, you fucking weeaboos. Look, Lilo and Stitch, better animated movie than Spirited Away.
Ooh, conflicted. Not sure about that.
Hate me.
I would have to say I prefer Lilo and Stitch to Spirited Away just because it's more fun and it's a much easier watch in general. Whether you see that as a bad thing or not's a different matter altogether, but...
I would say, I would put Treasure Planet in third place, but they're all good movies.
Aww, Scrump smiles.
I know.
It's a tiny little animation touch, but her doll Scrump, as they're walking away, it goes from a frown to a smile.
Oh, Hugs will do that. Here we go. We have Tia Carrere as Nanny, Lilo's sister. Tia is, she was on Scrubs as, what was her fucking character's name?
Ooh, I don't know.
Turk's girlfriend / wife. Carla, there we go.
Wait, that was her? Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm not sure how the reception was to a non-Hawaiian playing a Hawaiian character, same for Lilo.
Well, the thing is that Tia Carrere is Hawaiian.
Really?
She and Jason Scott Lee, who plays David, are both Hawaiian-born, and they actually help the writers with the dialogue and accents.
Huh, how about that?
Also, Tom, I think you're incorrect on saying she was in Scrubs.
You sure about that?
Someone else.
Yeah, because on her Wikipedia page, Scrubs is definitely not there.
Did she reprise her role for the TV series?
Yes, Nani's... Well, she's basically voiced Nani in every single iteration.
Well, fuck me, I've been getting the character wrong all these years.
So, the actress that you were thinking of, if you give me 5 seconds...
Internet research fight! You have no idea how on the edge of my seat I am right now. The tension is fucking killing me.
I will say I had a similar mistake, casting wise, with the star of Meet the Robinsons, because I thought it was the dude who played Aang from The Last Airbender, not the movie, the cartoon, for the longest time.
So I think you're thinking of Judy Reyes as Carla Espinosa.
I am.
So it's definitely not Tia Carrere.
They sound similar though, don't they? No one's gonna back me up here. Well, fuck me.
Also, welcome to Pulp Fiction.
Uh-huh.
Ving Rhames. They decided to completely model Cobra Bubbles over the gangster he plays in Pulp Fiction. He even has the same goddamn earrings. Come on. Also, oops, I forgot to mention, we're supposed to keep it a spoiler that his full name is Cobra Bubbles.
Which is just absolutely wonderful.
Oh, Lito's gonna get it now.
I think this was also probably one thing that really connects me to this movie, too, is that, so my mom was a single mom, and I had 2 younger sisters that were 8 years younger than me, so I had to babysit them all the goddamn time. So I knew Nani's struggles all too well.
I was laughing at the picture, not your situation, I should probably add. Oh, that's a smooth voice. I love it. Delicious burnt shit. Yum.
The crust is what gives it character. And they never show it. Come on, at least show the knuckle tattoo.
Well, you can actually see the knuckle tattoo very, very small on his knuckles in that shot. Which isn't... It's good that they actually did pay that little bit of attention to detail and did have it visible.
Yeah, well, if they say something's there and that thing's not there, I'm gonna be pissed and rate the movie down a 4 point.
It's very true.
It's already down to 3.5 stars. Good. Good. Get disciplined. Sometimes you need a little bit more of that shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Did your sisters ever pull anything like this, Maxie?
Yes. That's what little sisters do. It's like innately programmed into them to fuck with you in the worst way possible.
Yeah, sometimes I get a bit lonely being an only child, but other times, fuck it, you know? So yeah, like, I would say the alien stuff is the A plot. The whole thing with Nani and Lilo is the B plot. I would say this one has more importance to the movie as a whole because it directly affects the characters, whereas the alien stuff kind of just, it's all about Stitch, really.
Well, I mean, I think your analysis of the story structure's ever so slightly off. So the A plot is the Ohana plot,
Okay.
i.e. Stitch finding his place in the world. The B plot is then the alien stuff and the aliens trying to capture him, and then sort of just under that with the B plot is what's happening between Nani and Lilo potentially getting away by social services.
Mm-hmm.
It probably has something to do with the fact that him being Jumba's experiment it wasn't even like their initial idea. Stitch was supposed to be an intergalactic gangster. Like, he was supposed to be like an ultimate evil bad guy in space, and Jumba was supposed to be a member of his gang that Stitch left behind. So Jumba essentially took the rap for one of Stitch's jobs, and so Jumba was getting revenge on his leader. And then the third act would have been that the rest of the gang shows up all pretty much to revolt against Stitch, but they needed to make him a bit more sympathetic other than he's literally space evil. So now, you know, it's like he's evil, but it's because he was made that way. He had no choice.
I mean, you also have the whole thing of originally Stitch was going to be a children's book. I mean, Sanders created him in 1985, but his pitch was ultimately unsuccessful. And then that led to trying to get it into an animated feature.
Well, have you seen that drawing? That Stitch is kind of ferocious looking. It's like a hamster with 8 different pelts of skin, razor-sharp fangs. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I definitely would read that book to my children, but I don't think normal people would.
No.
I'm looking this shit up. Stitch prototype book.
Well, while you do that, her door has the word kapu, which is, it's a word in Fiji. Well, no. Kapu is Hawaiian, but it comes from the Fiji word taboo, where we get our word taboo. So it's essentially keep out in Hawaiian. I mean, not officially with that translation, but it's an approximation there.
You gotta teach us a bit about Hawaiian culture and law throughout the course of this commentary, Maxie.
I don't know, maybe. Was I the only one who did research for this commentary? Maybe.
I did some research. I mean, I've got a wonderful bit about Tantalog to talk about once Stitch has finally arrived in Hawaii. But, yeah.
I just show up and say 3, 2, 1, go, and that's my job fulfilled.
Hooray! And you did great.
Yay! She kind of deserved it, really. Myrtle's a bit of a bitch.
Dude. So, I think one of the best jokes involving Myrtle, like, they sometimes sympathize her a bit. Like, yeah. I mean, you find out that her dog Gigi is technically an experiment, blah, blah, blah. But they throw one of the worst curveballs at her, where Myrtle makes a joke where it's like, I forget what it is, but she essentially says, like, you're gonna go away forever. And then one of her friends is like, yeah, just like Myrtle's dad. It's like, what? And it's one of the best jokes ever. Like, they start throwing it in Myrtle's face that her parents are, like, separate or something, and her dad's never around. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I think that's probably one of the most wonderful things about the Lilo and Stitch series, is that it's got a very off-kilter sense of humour, and particularly in terms of Disney, it's just very fresh and really quite fun.
It definitely helps that Lilo is just such a great character. Like, she's normal.
Yeah.
In the sense that she's so weird in terms of a cartoon, but as a real person, she's normal. Like, she's not perfect. She's not overtly optimistic. Like, she has faults. She has troubles. I mean, she's from a broken household, and she acts like how a normal child would, and that just makes her absolutely fucking precious.
It's a demon! A demon!
Well, no, he's an angel. Did you not hear her prayer?
Oh, the prayer was bullshit. It's very clearly a demon with 4 arms.
Yeah, it's like when people, why would Stitch leave Lilo for Asian girl? It's like, well, because Stitch is an angel. He did his job, now he's moved on to the next child. Or not.
Have you seen that episode of, what is it, Stitch, exclamation mark?
Yes.
The only thing I've seen of the anime is the opening, and it was garbage.
Well, I've seen the dubbed version of the episode where he actually meets Lilo again, and it turns out it was all a misunderstanding, and Lilo has a daughter who looks exactly like her as a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just the worst possible thing they could have done to the series, because, like, I think it ended rather perfectly with Leroy and Stitch, and they should have just left it there and perfect.
Or, not try to tie the anime into the Disney canon at all and just leave it as is.
That would have also worked better.
Finger guns, bang bang!
I think there's something about, like, 2 of the dogs there are based off of 2 of Sanders' dogs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, another thing that also makes this movie very precious to my heart, it involves shelter dogs, so perfect.
You love your puppies, don't you?
Oh, I fucking love them.
I mean, there is a hell of a lot of Chris Sanders in this film. Obviously, because he voices Stitch, but also this entire film is based around his art style, because he does, well, he certainly did, and I think still does, a lot of drawing outside of his main work. And, I mean, some of it is surprisingly slightly horrifically risque. But it's got
is it ever? I've seen those pictures.
Yeah, but it's got all these curves. That was probably a really bad way to go, but, like, it's a very circular style art.
Yeah.
Which, when you've got things like standard Disney, which have got quite a lot more straight lines to them, especially in terms of the facial features, it really makes Lilo and Stitch stand out, and yet somehow it still fits into the style of Disney, which is actually quite remarkable.
Disney, fun for all the family.
Fuck yeah, zombie dog. I'll take 3.
One that's not rabid.
There's hardly any foam, come on.
This one did. It said very, very mean things about Merle. I taught him them.
Oh, that's the other thing too, is there's another one too. I think it's in the second Lilo and Stitch movie, where this is probably why I give them a pass for making fun of Myrtle's absent father, is when she throws in Lilo's face, she's like, you'll never be as good as your mother.
Oh, too
Yeah,
far.
and like what happens is that at first Stitch is holding her back, and then as soon as she mentions she drops the mom bomb, Stitch just lets go. It's like, have at it.
Yeah, I love that bit.
Rip that bitch a new one.
And then he takes like a series of selfies as Lino's beating the shit out of Myrtle, and in one of them Stitch takes a selfie. He just gets in front of the camera.
There's a few little Easter eggs on that pet license. Is that the adoption official, the lady there, her name is Susan Hergotti, and that's just the name of her actress. So you know, she gets to play herself, a cameo. It's cute. But I think the more important thing is Lilo and Nani's last name is Pelikai.
Mm-hmm.
Does that actually mean anything? Gotta leave it there?
I don't know. There's their last name, Pelikai.
Okay. Well, actually, yeah, if it's not like brought up in the film, like spoken out loud, that's the point.
I mean, the only real dealio is that I know Tumblr loves to like shit their pants over the fact that a translation for Lilo's name is lost, which that's more a secondary translation for it.
Mm.
I mean, the primary translation for Lilo would be generous one, which still fits her character, but of course, you know, when words have secondary meanings and therefore can add to the themes of the movie, I mean, Tumblr's just so used to reading shit literature that just blows their fucking mind.
I saw a thing back there called Mulan Wog.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of references to Mulan because this was the second of 3. I believe it was 3 Disney movies that were animated in the Disney studio in Orlando. The original one was Mulan, and the second one being Lilo and Stitch. So they had a lot. So the studio felt a close connection with Mulan, and actually, Tia, Nani's voice actress, was considered for the voice of Mulan.
Well, I mean, another link to Mulan is that Dean DeBlois, who co-wrote and co-directed the film along with Chris Sanders, was one of the co-heads of story on Mulan. So that's another very close link. And also, Chris Sanders also helped with the screenplay and was story supervisor, as well as voicing Little Brother in Mulan.
More dogs.
Yeah, get fucked, Merle. See ya!
I have no sympathy for her. I mean, no, you deserve it for being a little shit.
I mean, it's quite funny because of these little girls are essentially the mean girls of typical high school dramas.
Yeah, except they don't wear pink on Wednesday.
Well, that, and also they don't exactly wear matching outfits.
Damn, man, these backgrounds, though.
I don't know, see, watercolors. Gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even though they were cell painted on computer, it's just the fact that they decided to go with the different, I guess, suit of colors? I don't know. Set of colors, something like that.
It suits Hawaii perfectly, because obviously it's a bunch of islands.
And throughout this whole montage, they decided all of this areas here are real places in this montage, and some they purposefully went with memorable locations. They really wanted to make sure that, like, this is Hawaii. It's not like, oh, it's random island A. It's like, no, this is Hawaii. There are these places are real.
Was it like just touristy places, or stuff like families and whatnot visit?
Some are touristy places. Most of the touristy places are going to be in the ending montage, but
Yeah.
this area is places that are at least noticeable, but or at the very least, like, that the animators really liked, and, you know, they shot for shot recreated them into the movie. Also, reason number 37 why I fucking love this movie: Elvis. Lots and lots of Elvis. You guys have no idea. I love Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not too big into old music and stuff. Like, in high school, I was always surrounded by kids. They're like, oh man, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. Like, honestly, anything older than 80s, I can never really get into all that much.
Yeah.
But Elvis is my fucking man. I have, like, 5 different collections of his music. I have some of the only records I actually own are Elvis records.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that kind of adds to the charm of the movie, because number one, you have Lilo, who is not a typical, like, Disney protagonist at all. It's like teenager and up, mostly. And number two, Elvis, the type of music you don't really get to hear in Disney films. It's mostly like contemporary pop and whatnot.
It's pretty much either contemporary pop or Broadway.
They were essentially saying, hey, here's Broadway animated. And then Tarzan was like, well, we could do something other than Broadway. So, you know, when you think of hip, cool, young people music, you instantly think of Phil Collins. That's honestly the thing that makes the least amount of sense to me about the Tarzan movie.
I love that soundtrack, though, man.
Oh, I'm not dissing the soundtrack. I just find it hilarious that the reason they picked him and who he actually is doesn't quite fit. And so, you know, Hawaii gets Elvis because Elvis was known to be a lover of the state of Hawaii.
And also, it fits into the whole general quirkiness that is Lilo and Stitch.
You could tell that Myrtle and her little band of bitches, that they're all about boy bands and whatever's on Top 40, or pretty much anything that's on Disney radio. Let's throw that out there. Meanwhile, Lilo's over here listening to real music. She's got an actual record player.
Oh, David, you lovable goof.
Like I said, that's just something so great about the writing of these characters. I guess other than Stitch, none of them are bigger than, like, what they are. Like, Lilo is just a girl. She's not some special chosen child. She's just a girl, and even then, she's like, she's not perfect. Nani isn't some perfect matriarch. She's just a young adult who's trying to barely keep her life together, and she's doing it in the most human ways. Like, she's not, oh, I'm gonna go win the lottery, or I'm gonna go follow my dreams. Like, no, she's trying to just keep her life. And David, not the prince, no Prince Charming, not perfect, but he's someone who cares for Nani and helps her out. Like, he's not completely useless in his role either. Like, he will try to help them out, and he ends up being helpful.
Yeah, just a normal guy.
And I think also with David and Nani's relationship, it's arguably the most realistic relationship Disney's ever put to film.
Hercules and Megara comes close.
Well, I just feel like to them, they're friends. They are friends who are helping each other, and because of being in proximity, helping each other, being beneficial to each other, they come closer. With Hercules and Meg, Hercules is like, wow, look at pretty booty. I'm a safe pretty booty. I love you.
I suppose.
I'd say the thing with Hercules and Meg is that once they've gotten into relationship-y mode, you've got a rather realistic banter between them. But I would say with Nani and David, it's very much a realistic progression from knowing each other to romantic involvement and so on, which I think is the most impressive bit, really, of their relationship.
And the other thing, too, is that there's no, like, plot of it. Like, you don't go see scenes of David trying to figure out how he's gonna get with Nani, and you don't see scenes of Nani daydreaming about David. It's like, they have their lives to live.
Yeah, they got their own
But
problems.
if relationships come about through it because they need each other, boom!
Yeah, there you go. Oh, really, though, you have an entirely different opinion of Stitch compared to Nani. Look how he rolls about like Sonic.
I don't think they, like, do that all that too much in the show, even though that's one of his cooler abilities.
But I forgot just how good and like fluid the animation is in this film.
Yeah, it's astonishingly brilliant.
Yes, it is.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, we dropped the Ohana. Ba-ba-ba-bow.
MLG family values. Oh, that no scope to the heart.
Oh,
my heart. It's working again.
I think I'm feeling one of those emotion things.
I'll have to get that sorted next time I see the doctor.
Now, for anybody who wants to actually know why that is included, it's because when the animation team visited Kauai to research the locale, their tour guide explained the meaning of Ohana as it applies to extended families. And so basically, I'm pretty sure it's the sense of whoever is part of your family will always be part of your family, no matter how far down the line they go.
Mm-hmm.
And De Blois basically recalled that no matter where we went, our tour guide seemed to know somebody. He was really the one who explained to us the Hawaiian concept of Ohana, a sense of family that extends far beyond your immediate relatives. That idea so influenced the story that it became the foundation theme, the thing that causes Stitch to evolve. And so obviously it's just ridiculously important and basically caused a sort of entire rewriting of the project. Just because one tour guide was just like, I'm going to tell you about this little thing called Ohana.
Cool guy. But I mean, you can look into that in a really dark way when, secluded islands, not too many people going in and out, genetic diversity. Technically, everyone on the island is probably your family.
Now, something that is probably really, really, really looking too heavily into things, and I can't remember the exact specification of what those flowers are, but there's some sort of symbolism that somebody figured out, which
they're hibiscus.
Yes, hibiscus, and it's
We've already been through this. We talked about hibiscus in Link's Awakening.
Well, that was a long time ago. Just
It's a very, very long time ago.
Also, wow, San Francisco. So when does the super nerd with his other super nerd friends take the giant inflatable robot and just fly around it?
We haven't recorded that commentary yet.
Oh, haven't we?
I just wanted to look fabulous, Jumba. Don't judge me.
Don't judge being pretty. Everyone can be it.
Oh, you're gonna regret this, Plexler. Here comes another bloodsucker.
Yep, tropical islands. Like, I've never been to Hawaii, but, Puerto Rico's close enough climate-wise, and Jesus fucking Christ, I have never been feeded upon by so many parasites.
So what you're saying, if I ever decide to go to Puerto Rico, just wear an Iron Man suit to keep the flies away?
Yes. Yes. Like, if you can find one of those African bed nets that they use to keep people from getting malaria, use it.
I like this scene.
It's great.
Bye-bye.
I mean, because it's a callback to the sort of monster horrors that were popular for a time, and obviously were referenced because you had that small clip from the Tarantula film in in the TV shop, which is an actual real film.
Yeah, they did not animate it.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful little thread of B-movie monster films that obviously they then go on to subvert by the fact of Stitch is this small, cute, fluffy little alien who just feels lost.
I wonder why Lilo has all these books in her room. Why would she need a book on the road maps of Iowa?
She's curious.
I suppose, yeah. Oh no, not the ugly duckling.
The live-action movie, too, also does this thing with Lilo and Stitch where, not only with picking actual locations in Hawaii to animate, but, there are two things in this movie that are not animated, and that is the monster movie and any pictures of Elvis. Those are all live-action, so it's sort of doing this weird thing where it's really trying to blur the line here on, yeah, it's an animated movie, but it's like, this is real. It's trying to do this weird thing where it wants to make the movie almost seem too real, like that it could be real. You don't know. Have you been to Hawaii?
Have you ever made a movie with Chris Sanders? Didn't think so. No, but yeah, it's like what we're seeing is this. What the characters are seeing are all the live action stuff, I suppose.
Mulan poster in 3, 2, 1. Come on.
With suspicion.
Oh, there we go, Mulan poster.
Oh, I remember this specifically from all the advertisements for the film.
Oh yeah, this was in the trailer shit ton.
Those advertisements were amazing. I mean, mostly the teaser trailers, so they were called interstitials on Disney's site and the DVD release, and obviously they started off showing classic bits of Disney from like Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin and the Lion King, and then all of a sudden Stitch comes in and just screws everything up, and it's just the most wonderful bit of advertising I have ever seen, and I think it's probably part of the reason why Stitch ended up doing better than any of the other Disney films at the time, because it played on that idea of Disney nostalgia, but then it seemed to bring something incredibly new to the table.
Well, the thing is, some of them involve like, oh, you've got Stitch in place of Simba in the Lion King one, you have him crawling on the ceiling in the Taylor's All the Time thing, Beauty and the Beast, but you get to Aladdin, and
he literally jacks Jasmine.
Yeah, they're doing the whole new world sequence, and they're like mid like chorus or whatever. You just hear like doot doot, like a car alarm or something or a horn, and then Stitch pulls up alongside in the space cruiser, and Jasmine's like, "Hey guy," and then they go off together, and Aladdin's like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I mean, in The Little Mermaid, he just causes a massive tsunami over her.
Yeah.
And remember, this is back in 2002. Like, this is kind of before internet parodying, so Disney was, like, parodying itself, and people were like, what's going on? It's making fun of old classic scenes. You can't do that. No one does that.
Gotta sell yourself, Nani. You really want to serve coffee. It's all you want to do.
Kiki's Coffee Hut. I believe that's a ever so slight reference to Kiki's Delivery Service, which is obviously Studio Ghibli film, and obviously the whole thing with Disney and Studio Ghibli was happening at the time, where Disney pretty much did all the dubbing for Studio Ghibli films.
Right before Spirited Away robbed Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, get over it. They're both good films.
Stolen!
I love how, like, Cobra Bubbles is just following them from scene to scene, though.
Mm-hmm.
He is doing his job.
How dare
He has
he?
to make sure that she's getting a job.
Oh my god, this, like, hotel scene just put me in mind of the Lilo and Stitch crossovers in the TV series.
Ah, they were wonderful.
Really? Were they all wonderful, Richie?
Well, I mean, they were cheesy and corny, but they worked.
Well, let me bring up the Lilo and Stitch crossover, like, wiki. Stitch crossovers.
Well, while you do that, that whole the whole Stitch giving a rose to the lady was actually inspired by, so every year the Disney Institute holds animation classes, and every year there would be a student who would actually give flowers to all the animators, and they thought it was absolutely adorable, so they had Stitch give a rose to that lady.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just anything that's just cute or heartwarming, they're like, we gotta put this in our movie.
Okay, I've got the list of crossovers here. I'll also cross-reference this with the list of experiments. Let's see, you had an episode crossover with American Dragon, Jake Long,
Mhm.
and I should mention that it was those characters coming into Lilo and Stitch, not like two shows colliding together, literally. And that revolved around a experiment that would eventually be called Morpholomew, and if I just do a little... Where the fuck is this guy? Where is he? There we go. As a small red blob-like experiment with 2 arms, 2 legs, blah blah blah, designed to morph organisms into any other organism after seeing the target organism or a photo of the target organism at least once before.
Mm-hmm.
The next one was... oh my god, I can't believe this one crossed over with Lilo and Stitch. The Proud Family.
Yes.
Yeah, they basically went on holiday to Hawaii or whatever. That one revolved around an experiment called Spats, who was a small yellow squirrel/cat-like creature with orange markings on his back, small pointed antennae, a cat-like face, and so on and so forth, designed to make individuals fight with each other by zapping them with a beam fired from the ends of his tail. The episode literally writes itself.
Mm-hmm.
Third, this one may have ended or aired last, but I want to save the best one for last. Recess.
Mm-hmm.
They basically went on a fucking field trip, and by god did those character models clash with the Lilo and Stitch ones. Yeah, that's...
But, hold up. We're at the centerfold piece.
oh, yeah, I'll talk about the last one and the rest of the Recess crossover after this.
This song, so good.
It's amazing.
So fucking good. It's just I put this as one of my favorite, like, musical number scenes. Like, sometimes Disney will have, like, good songs, or they'll have a good scene, but, like, it's always amazing when it's an amazing song and the scene animated with it just makes it even more powerful.
Oh, definitely.
And this one is up there.
So, for anybody who wants to know the specifics, Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, performed by Mark Kiali
Ho'omalu. And the, wait for it, Kamehameha School's Children Chorus.
Yes, I know, it was an ancient Hawaiian king. I'm not that much for a weeb.
I don't know, you've been on that DBZ fix lately. I was worried for you.
Well, Dragon Ball Super fix, I should say. But yeah, that's why it's called the Kamehameha Wave. Not beam, wave. But yeah, I love this song, it's pretty good. It's the one I mostly think of when I, try and recall Lilo and Stitch.
And... wait. No, I can't even remember the exact scene.
Yeah, he's trying to replicate it. There we go. Oh.
There it is.
But it's just not the same. He has no Ohana.
And I have that very scene with his arms up, tattooed on my leg.
Nice. He's willingly going back to water. This is amazing.
I know.
I do like how they managed to squeeze most of his transformation into the musical number, because they actually had more scenes planned out for essentially how Stitch would learn the negative consequences of his actions. Because the thing is, again, the big thing about Stitch is that yeah, he's evil. He's programmed to be evil, programmed to be destructive, but it's not his fault, and he can overcome it. It's like it's part of the message of the family dealio. It's not just that, you know, oh, family, no one gets left behind or whatever, but also it's showing that the love of family is such a powerful force. Like,
Yeah.
it overcomes anything. It overcomes nature. It overcomes the chaos. Like, it changes people. And so they were doing several additional scenes. One being where Lilo actually introduces Stitch to Pudge the fish.
Yes.
Oh.
Pudge the fish being the fish that had the sandwich at the beginning of the movie that she was late because she had to go buy peanut butter. Because Pudge controls the weather. Why is Lilo so preoccupied with a fish that controls the weather? Well, her parents died in a car accident in the middle of a rainstorm. She literally is preoccupied with Pudge because she wants no one else to suffer the pain that she has.
Oh.
So she introduces Stitch to Pudge, and what ends up happening is Stitch kind of fights with Pudge and throws Pudge out of the water, and birds attack Pudge. Pudge the fish dies, and Lilo pretty much loses it on Stitch.
And that was not included in the film, I'm assuming.
No. It's also in the deleted scenes on the DVD and the Blu-ray.
I think that may have been a bit much. I think illusions were the most the film could, like, realistically get away with.
So what happened was they were throwing in more scenes to show. So if anyone has that sort of complaint that, oh, I don't believe that Stitch could change it, and you can shove off, they had scenes for it. But all you really need to know is that the message of the movie is literally that love from a family is that powerful.
Mm.
So yeah, nothing is out of place, no plot hole, no inconsistency, you just suck.
Oh, damn. I forgot, like, doing commentary review, you always go straight for the kill. It's great.
Especially when you're talking shit about Lilo and Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, going back to the crossover stuff, the recess stuff, that revolved around an experiment called Lax, a purple parrot-like experiment with a small antennae, a beak, and tail feathers. He is designed to fire a green ray from his antenna that will cause anything it hits to stop working, and he can also climb walls, because what's an extra power thrown into the mix? A person hit with 285's rays will relax, and a machine hit with the ray will shut down. There's the specifics. And the last one, which was my favourite, and I was eagerly awaiting it, looking for like screenshots of it, and it was a series I really followed and enjoyed at the time, was Kim Possible.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, they did do the Kim Possible one.
Yes, and this was revolving around an experiment called Rufus.
It almost went roofie there.
Well, actually, I think the experiment was called Launch, a tan, naked, mole rat-like experiment with 4 spines on its back, designed to warp the fabric of time and space, causing the entire universe to collapse upon itself.
So that explains the crossovers.
Yes.
Okay, good.
No, all Disney stuff takes place on the same universe, obviously.
Well, I mean, considering all of the interstitials, yes, all Disney films do take place in the same universe.
Haha! Another thing about this movie, the plot or the negative dark point of this movie isn't just, oh no, I'm not gonna get my Prince Charming. Oh no, we didn't win the contest. Oh no, stupid petty problem that honestly you didn't really need in your life in the first place. No, it is literally, I am about to lose my fucking family.
Yeah.
And we get the absolutely wonderful Aloha Oi, which is Farewell to Thee, which is just, it's gorgeous.
Again, it's even made better when the fact that they had Hawaiian speakers for 2 of the 3 main characters.
I feel like a real shit for getting that bit of trivia wrong now.
It's alright.
If anything, it kind of enhances the movie now that I know that.
Yeah. Lilo is the only Hawaiian character not voiced by a Hawaiian actor.
The fact that this is done as kind of like an acoustic thing, I think really rams it home.
Oh god, yes.
It's just a sister, serenading her younger sister, really.
So again, if you Tumblrinos could get off your fucking high horses for 2 seconds, watch a goddamn good movie, you would know that Disney has made movies about loving sisters.
Okay.
Look, I'm just really upset that great movies like this just get overshadowed by, hey, look at this. We made another princess movie with a half-assed plot but with super catchy music. Let's have every child obsessed about it.
I think I know what film you're talking about.
Well, at least you now agree that it has catchy music, because I think there was a time frame where you were just like, it's rubbish music!
Oh no, it's catchy, but that doesn't make it good. Like, you can formulaically create a catchy song. All you need to do is use certain chord progressions, which that movie does.
It's true.
Doesn't make it good, and hardly makes it well thought out.
I mean, I will respectfully disagree with you on the quality of that film's songs. I think they're actually quite good. But we will leave that for another day.
You'll have your say when we do that particular commentary.
What I will say is, yes, Lilo and Stitch is a better film.
There you go. That's all that needs to be said. Oh, don't do this. I wanted a happy movie, not a sad movie.
50s great hits. Also Dumbo.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, you see him more clearly when Stitch crash lands. And again, remember, this movie is trying to essentially do what Dumbo did by being the lower budget film post, throwing all their money and not getting the return. And also an outcast misfit animal.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep, appropriate. I will say Disney is fucking killing it with the CGI stuff these days, but
oh hell yeah!
Every so often, I wish they would throw like the 2D animation fans a bone and do another like Princess and the Frog, you know?
Considering the fact that although the Princess and the Frog did well, it didn't do nearly as well as the CGI films, largely because it cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And obviously it's very time consuming, whereas CGI can be done, in comparison, pretty cheaply and quickly. So financially, it makes more sense for them to do CGI. And it's getting to the point now where it's good enough to be able to live up to what everyone sees as the heyday of 2D.
Plus, when are we gonna have time to make animated films when we're so fucking busy making live-action reanimations of our movies?
Well, the Jungle Book is getting pretty good reviews.
It definitely is, yes.
Speaking of, David's voice actor, he actually played Mowgli in the first live-action Jungle Book.
Ha!
Jason Scott Lee was the Mowgli.
Nice. They were so intimidating towards, like, the middle of the movie, but now look at them. Washed up, literally.
Like I said, they started off a bit too violent, a bit too scary for kids, so... Again, another thing, too, if anyone wants to say, like, the villains aren't threatening, it's like, well, they were at first, but it didn't quite work.
They're not even threatening, they're working for the government. Okay, maybe I should have thought twice
Fucking terrifying.
before that came out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, it's kind of part of the entire point of Lilo and Stitch is there are no real villains in this film. Like, the closest you've got to it, at least at present, is Jumbo and Pleakley, because they're trying to capture Stitch, but then they're just doing their job. And then the next closest is the councilwoman, who is also doing her job and doing what she thinks is right. And then you've got Gantu, who, although is easily the bigger dick of the film, is also thinking he's doing what's best for people and the universe.
The flip side of that, the most threatening character to the structure of the plot, Cobra Bubbles, is just doing his job.
Yes.
So let it be known that employment is the true villain of Lilo and Stitch.
Support communism, kids.
Also, Jumba, what size are you? Like, how big is Jumba? Because he seems to go from really big to kind of not big, and I swear to God, he loses weight in this movie.
Yeah, well, the more evil a person has, the fatter they are. That's how it works.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he does. He changes sizes regularly, and also he can go from the incredibly threatening look to incredibly adorable. Like now, it's just the eyes get really big and round, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, it's just contours. Okay, it's all angles.
eyes too, speaking of that, was one of the big difficulties they had with Stitch was getting him to express emotion, because if you notice, his eyes have no pupils. And that's pretty much how humans get 80% of their emotional context. So what they had to do instead was make him very physical. That's why everything Stitch does is Stitch does not do subtle. Everything is exaggerated. Every emotion uses his full body, because it's actually really difficult to express emotions on Stitch's face. But having huge ears definitely helps too.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, ears can be a substitute for eyebrows on pretty much any animated creature.
Yeah, it just accentuates the face. Getting a bit real here, movie. Getting a bit real. Can we go back to cartoon antics, please?
Getting a bit real, Tom. This
real
is
movie
real.
in the real life with real people.
There you go. You didn't slay a dragon. You didn't win the race. You may have found a job.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Seriously.
It is just so much more powerful. Because like, even in the end, it's not even something he had to do. There was no quest, no destiny. This was 100% literally out of the good of his Disney heart.
Mm-hmm.
Love the design of Lilo and Stitch's place.
It is wonderful.
Oh, and I think that was another thing too, is that David, Nani, and Lilo, none of them are really all that exaggerated. Like, Lilo is a 6-year-old girl, and, you know, she's drawn pretty proportionally to that. Nani has a waist, and, like, no... Essentially, it's like, even though it's cartoon, even though it's stylized, they still made all the characters human-shaped.
Yeah. Well, you know, Chris Sanders likes to slip in some hips here and there, but that's just the Sanders trope.
Yeah.
A prime example of that would be the lifeguard Nanny was talking to earlier in the film.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was... Yeah.
But then, if you think about it, that lifeguard is, I would assume, a slight reference to Baywatch. I mean, considering, you know, the red swimming costume and the blonde hair.
Yeah. It's just a little something for the dad, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, animators gotta give themselves something back.
Oh, Stitch is getting into it. He's feeling the goodness in his heart.
The goodness has literally given him a voice. The power of language.
Good job he's invincible.
Nearly indestructible.
Now, just while these guys putz about and destroy this beautiful dwelling, Mexi, give me a number between, 1 and 628, and I'll read off an experiment for you.
420.
Oh, we're recording this a couple of days after that. Okay. 420 is Curdle from Lilo and Stitch. It has no data.
Nice.
Richie.
I'll go for number 007.
Okay, 007. It's Myrtle's pet, Gigi.
Yay!
A.k.a. Yapper, a white Shih Tzu experiment with a purple bow, designed to annoy people with her constant barking. She behaves like a typical good dog, does tricks, licks her owner's face, fetches the morning paper, blah 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 blah, and so on.
Sounds like a Shih Tzu to me.
Oh yeah, what a little Shih Tzu. Okay, I'm just gonna type out random numbers. 375. Ooh. Phantasmo, a green phantom-like experiment with short arms, a large cone head with 2 stripes, a squeaky voice, koala-like face, blah blah blah, able to possess inanimate objects and bring them to life. I think I remember that episode, actually.
Yeah, it's currently residing within the robot of, Quacky Macaw?
Mackie McCaw, yeah.
Mackie fucking Caw.
He is voiced by Nancy Cartwright, so there you go. I love the TV series, I have to say, because I love the Pokemon aspect of it.
It's an excellent series.
You get a new, thing with new powers in every episode, and the elemental ones were the best.
Well, I mean, clearly, the best experiment was Experiment 625, aka Ruben. He was amazing.
Oh, Jesus.
All the powers of Stitch, but just would prefer to, make sandwiches.
Oh, just doing his job. Just doing his job. I mean, let's face it, if you were a social worker and you saw the house blown up, what would be your first action? Would be like to keep the kid, I can tell you that much.
Nope. Kids get removed for way less. I was wondering if they had any front-facing license plate, because this is another movie where all the cars have the license plate A113, which represents the CalArts room where a huge number of Disney and Pixar animators all graduated from. Like Toy Story has them, Cars has it, anything that John Lasseter touches or breathes near has A113 license plates.
Exactly.
This is the real me. Like it or get out.
Fun fact, I've actually got a Stitch model on my shelf, when he's Alien Stitch in his space outfit.
Okay.
And I got it from Disneyland, and it's like, ah,
nice. The only figure I have is Disney Infinity. I don't have the game. I have nothing even remotely. I just bought the Stitch toy.
Well, to be fair, I have thought many times about getting that particular Stitch toy. I just never was sure whether it was just like, do I want to do this? I'm edging towards that. I might do.
I would say this is the one part of the movie which is just a little bit in terms of like pacing and quality, because now it just revolves around all the alien stuff.
Yeah, but this was also the part that got completely last second rewritten.
Yes.
Because of a little thing called 9/11.
Yeah.
All right, because they'll be taking a ship with Jumba and the others to rescue Lilo, and that was originally just a normal plane, wasn't it?
Well, it was a normal plane, and they went through the city, and there's a bit where you'll see it eventually where they flip the plane onto its side to go through some mountains. Originally, that was going to be like skyscrapers, and obviously it's just like, oh.
They were gonna fly a Boeing 747 through downtown Honolulu.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's bad. Well, they were gonna do other things too, where like Lilo was gonna lie and say that there was a tsunami coming to get the sirens going. Like, Lilo's gonna be a little shitlord, but they definitely made her 100% likable.
Definitely. And also, for anybody who actually wants to see the original version of the scene that we're going to go into, they do have it on the Blu-ray and the DVD, and I'm pretty sure it is on YouTube as well, because it was fully animated. But obviously then 9/11 happened, and they had to completely revise it.
And then it's also the reason why that part of the movie, too, is, randomly CGI. The whole movie is wonderfully colored. They went with that old art style, and then all of a sudden, a lot of people are like, whoa, what? Why is it different? It's because it had to be. Because this movie is perfect.
It's not part of our job, lady. We were just there to pick up Stitch.
Choke them out, beat the shit out of them, boot through all 4 eyeballs, you getting your sister back.
Well, that's true. That's true, I suppose. Alright, roll credits. God, Stitch, be the hero this movie deserves. Oh, Chris Sanders, earning that paycheck.
I like how, even though he's not actually with Disney, he still comes back to voice Stitch. No hard feelings. I just love this character so much, I'm willing to voice him.
I mean, pretty much the only time where he hasn't voiced Stitch was the awful anime. Which is probably a godsend in the end, because it means that all of the actual Chris Sanders performances of Stitch are the proper Stitch performances.
The canon Stitch performances.
It just affects the canon of it, so now we can all completely forget about it.
Also, I said I was going to mention it earlier on in the film, but this language that Stitch speaks, when he's not speaking English, is actually called Tantalog, which is it's created by Jumba. And it's what pretty much I think most of the experiments speak, and there are translations that people have gone through and figured out. So, like, Akabucha is let me out. Akata is alright / clear. You've got Baka, which is toilet.
Baka.
You've got Tabata, which is come and catch me.
Which is a type of bread.
You've got Mbachua, which is you said it. Fibugu, which is bring it on. You've got I'm trying Ikapitudi or Ikapituka, which is stupid head or grumpy Gus. You've also got the immortal Miga Nalaquista, which is I want to destroy.
Oh yeah, the best.
Hooray!
And there are obviously quite a lot of others, but that would take quite a lot of stuff to go into.
Also, BRB means Big Red Battleship. There's also in one of these scenes here, when the ship was flying away and Lilo cried out to Stitch, that scene's going to be reused. So there is one reused scene in here.
Yeah, just look at all this CGI, Jesus.
Yep. This was all supposed to be downtown Honolulu.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really mesh. They did their best, but completely 100% understandable.
Although this is easily the best use of this character in the entire film.
This guy will never get his ice cream.
Did he even get it like in Leroy and Stitch? Like, you figured they would have given him a break.
Well, he's basically one of the biggest running gags throughout the entire series, and it's just wonderful that they actually did keep it going for that long.
Yeah, and you said in the final movie, Leroy and Stitch, he finally gets his bloody ice cream.
Toasty!
Are you seriously expecting me to believe he's dead? He's invincible! You said so at the start of the movie!
Near invincible.
Oh, just don't throw him into the sun, he'll be fine.
Well, near invincible as in just watch Lilo and Stitch 2 Stitch Has a Glitch. Easily the weakest bit of the series, I would say. Largely because Chris Anders and Dean Dubois didn't really have much to do with it, and also half the cast are not the right cast members. I mean, mainly Lilo, who is in that film voiced by, I think it's Dakota Fanning.
It's Dakota Fanning, who's another one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah, and it's just like, while she does a decent job, she's no Davy Chase. Although apparently they were best friends at the time.
Well, there you go. David was like, hey, can you mind subbing me for this movie? I gotta go do some stuff. Hollywood stuff.
There you go, A113.
It's everywhere. I can't get away from it.
Wait, why is Jumba's computer set to American miles per hour?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't think about it.
Well, okay then.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this would have long-standing repercussions if you're going to explode a volcano like this.
I mean, the whole island is volcanoes. All of them, but sure, why not? I mean, honestly, it would have been a missed opportunity to set a movie in Hawaii and not even, like, touch a volcano. It's like, it's the whole point. It's the whole reason the islands even exist is volcanoes.
What was this in the original draft? A fucking nuclear plant that exploded?
No, I think they would have just went to whatever nearby park it was.
God, Gantu is like, just the scale of him compared to Stitch is amazing. Get fucked!
Also, something that I only actually noticed recently is that when Stitch is just like, all so cute and fluffy, his second set of arms are on his hips, being all incredibly sassy like Stitch is. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, he's just a blue fuzzy sass monster.
With love. So much love.
Cool experiments don't look at explosions.
Ohana means no one gives a shit about the exploding spacecraft.
Ohana means nobody gets exploded.
Ohana means, God damn it, Spirited Away.
Salty until the end of time.
Salty like the Pacific Ocean.
Mm-hmm. I love this bit.
Ohana means no one gets left behind because David had to take a second trip.
Oh god, Nayland!
Wait, she's flying a watermelon. Her spaceship is just like a watermelon with legs.
Well, it sort of looks like a frog, if you ask me, which is kind of fitting considering, you know, Stitch helped the little froggy out earlier.
Yeah, that's probably what they were going for.
I have a name. It's Stitch.
Excuse you, I'm civilized now. Excuse you, you have hurt my feelings. Now apologize publicly.
It's the classic tale of the monster who earned his humanity, really.
Mm-hmm. Also, for all those people who like their names being meaningful, Stitch, because, you know, he stitches the family back together.
Yeah, jazz hands.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, is actually adorable. Largely because Lilo is the one who gives him that name because it's what she wants him to be, really.
Still good.
That's going to be a bitch to sync up, I hope you realise.
I can't help it, that line.
It's great, yeah.
I do that like all the time too. It's like, still good. Yeah, still good.
Oh, it's heartwarming, Pleakling, but I just can't go against protocol, unless the Earth government was to step in.
So now we see that the villain of the movie has shifted from employment to goddamn bureaucracy.
Well, technically, I use my sister's money, but you know.
Boom! 50th state in the union, bitch!
There it is. Had to get a Roswell reference in, didn't we, movie?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no, the exile. What? Oh no.
Oh, not Hawaii. Oh, anything but this lush tropical
Shit,
island.
can I get sent to exile in Hawaii?
I think we could all only dream of such a thing. Jesus, that's like god tier protection.
So does that mean they get like a stipend or something? Does she get government employment from that? I mean, what exactly are the benefits? Let's negotiate these terms.
Yeah, why wasn't that in the movie? I wanted to see all the paperwork. I like that. You're exiled too, fuckers.
If they get fucking near my ship, you taste the shit out of them.
Space rugby ball away!
God, it's gotta suck for Agent Bubbles to be on Hawaii in a three-piece suit.
Yeah.
A black suit at that, Jesus.
Oh.
I love fixing up montages.
Especially when they're set to Burn in Love.
Uh-huh.
Sung in this version by Winona.
Yes, I actually really, really, really like this version. Possibly more so than Elvis's, I think, because it's a little bit more rocky, I think.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that works a little bit more successfully. It might just be that its conclusion is better to me.
I also prefer the Winona version of Burn in Love to the Elvis version. I love the Elvis version of every song.
I just want to eat the whole thing. And that.
Seeing again, the broken family. It's the whole theme too, that like family isn't just the mom, dad, and kids. Like
No.
It's everyone.
love this movie.
It's just so perfect.
And I really do think, like, as Pokemon-esque as the TV series is, it's a great follow-up to the first film. And, you know, Stitch has a glitch, it's okay. Leroy and Stitch is a decent finale to the whole thing.
Definitely.
Oh, Stitch. Okay, let's wrap this sucker up. Richie, Lilo and Stitch in a nutshell, please.
One of the best Disney films out there, probably one of my favourite films of all time. It's wonderful, it's perfect, I won't hear anybody say a bad word about it.
Mexi.
Yeah, I love this movie. I love that it's about family. I love that it has to do with dogs. I love it's about Hawaii. I love that it has Elvis. I love all the characters. I love the writing, music, the colors, everything about this movie. There's a reason why it's my favorite #1 Disney film.
As for me, taken on its own, it wouldn't get into my top 10, if only for the fact that there's, like, loads of other Disney films I like as well. I'm a bit of a Disney fanatic that way. But definitely, like, top 15, and grouped together with, you know, the rest of the expanded universe material, like the TV show and the sequels, it would probably edge its way into the top 10. But on its own, top 15 for sure. Really charming movie. The family stuff is on point. It's just that little bit towards the end, you know, with the whole rework stuff that doesn't quite sit well with me. But otherwise, great voice acting, fantastic animation, morals, perfect, music, you know, again, on point. Lilo and Stitch in a nutshell, guys. Thank you so much for listening to our commentary. And Mexi, it is so damn good to hear your voice again, mate. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time for another Disney fun commentary. Bye for now.